Welcome everyone to this top 4 battle-hardened Bangkok Viserai deck tech. With me today is the player that took it to battle-hardened top 4 deck tech. I'll start that again. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Welcome everyone to this Viserai deck tech. With me today is Jas Tin. Jas Tin got top 4 battle-hardened Bangkok with this list. Jas Tin, how are you doing today?
Oh, it's alright. It's a very impromptu discussion we're going to have, so I apologize if it won't be very detailed. It's also quite just an iteration of Noah and Yuanji's list that he brought to Worlds, and I think it's a bit different from the Brody list, and I like it quite a lot. So we can go through some of the decision points later.
Yeah. So long as this is enough to get people to play Viserai and win, so that he can LL and get the hell out of here so I can play Riptide properly, then that's all I want from this. So before we begin, do you have any shout-outs?
Just a shout out to Scottish Tryhards. I think Tim is a member of our little Discord group as well. We're nothing so professional as a team, but we do a lot of play testing together. And they have been great at testing out our games and making sure that we're ready to go. If not a little bit biased towards Riptide, which is fair enough, I guess.
Well, we can't send you halfway across the world without, a little bit of testing, so... We'll start with the deck tech then. Equipment-wise, this looks pretty standard. This seems to be what all Viserais are running, especially the main boards. Just check the sideboard here. You've got Crown of Providence, the Carapace, the Null Rune Boots. What matchups do these come in for?
I think Null Rune Boots is pretty straightforward. Anything that, all the rune base mostly. I was running, I want to say, the arms for quite a long time, X and Malice for Null. But Noah makes a very good point that the deck doesn't actually require Keepers a lot of the time, and going without AB into Aurora is just a death sentence sometimes. You can't stop the Arcane, the CLD guarantees a draw. So I think AB, I've changed my mind from Bunga Bunga, no AB to I need some AB to prevent some of this damage. I think Null Rune Boots has worked much better for me than any other slots so far.
Alright.
Having Grasp is just too important.
Yeah. The Crown of Providence instead of the Face Purgatory, what's that for?
I think they're just follow to the ground decks. Sometimes you just need CNC protection, really good into Assassin just because of all the arsenal disruption. Though a lot of times I prefer to play without an arsenal against Assassin. I'd rather just block Blood Interest. It's still useful for just for general hand fixing, things like that. Rune Blade hands are super common, and I run a lot of whiffs in the form of D-reacts and auras that don't have go again. So sometimes having something to just bottom out is quite helpful.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just, it's good. I'm a big fan of Crown of Providence, having opened like 7 of them so over various sets.
And the Dyadic Carapace for Acilio, right?
I think it helps into Acilio. I'm a bit torn about whether I play Dyadic for most matchups or not. If you listen to Yuanji and Noah speak about it, Carapace I think Yuanji uses it for everything, and Noah might use the Tunic a bit more. The idea being you never really want to use Tunic for, you never want to swing your Reaping Blade, so you only ever need Tunic for that. In a lot of the matchups, and you actually find this in my, we will talk about it when we go through the games. I had a sort of sideboards, and I changed them out on the fly as we went along, basically, just learning a little bit more about how I like to play the deck. I might be swinging a little bit more to Dyadic as the main chess piece just for the 3 block rather than Tunic. But there are a handful of matchups where the extra resource and extra Reaping Blades does matter, Guardian being a big one. And I think I'm still trying to fine tune what chess piece I want to use for specific matchups. There's just a lot of matchups right now and I've not been able to test all of them.
Okay, fair enough. So that's all the questions I have about the equipment because I'm ignorant about Runeblade. So you said that this list was based on the Yuanji Noah Bagelman list, but that it is different. So what have you changed from that list? And my next question is also, why have you changed it?
So I can't remember the exact. I only have to bring up the list from before. I think the core idea of this tend to be the same. I know Yonji's running Sonata Mechanics, and I really despise that card because every time I play Sonata, I whiff. Every time I play Sonata, I whiff. It's a point of inconsistency, and I don't want to gamble on my tournaments on getting a non-attack off the top of my deck.
Yeah.
So I don't run Sonata Mechanics. I think that's probably the biggest sort of shift compared to the rest of the other list.
Yeah.
Everything else, I think, is quite standard. You would find a blue, one or two blues are different from their list. I, for the longest time, had an extra one card slot that I couldn't figure out what I'm going to do with. I tried Sonata Phantasmia, I tried, I don't know, what's it called? Condemned to Slaughter, to try to get rid of Zen state tokens. It ended up just being a Haunting Rendition. I think some of the previous lists ran one Haunting Rendition, I run two, and that's mainly because I was worried about Flick Knives and Shenanigans. And 4-block is quite useful as well. I actually quite like Haunting Rendition, having played it this over the Battle Hardened. I might want to go up another one there, but I'm not decided yet. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, no, it's a really strong card. I've mostly only seen it played in Vincent though. I've not seen too many Viserai still run this card, but I guess it does a lot, right? It blocks. It's the modality is the strong part, right? You can do a few things with it. So.
The modality is really important, and the rune chant does help. There was a hand I drew where I had reduced rune chants in my arsenal, and I had a reduced rune chants in my hand. And the turn before, I had used my tunic to swing Reaping Blade, meaning I had no rune chants. So in that circumstance, I just went, okay, I'm just going to bin use the discard effect, prevent 1 or 2 damage, just so I get the rune chant. That made my reduced rune chance playable for the turn. And then I got 3 rune chants after that, and I managed to swing Amplify. So I liked the rune chant generation.
Yeah.
It's often not as much issue in Viserai than it is in Vincent, but it does come up, especially when blocking a lot, which I love to do.
Fair enough. Anything else in the main deck that you would say is worth talking about?
I think Runeblade Barrier is something that probably should come out of the deck. That's the only real thing I found. Yeah. I think it was originally in there as a way to fatigue out Aurora and certain other, maybe Dio as well is a good tool to help prevent the awkward numbers, the split of 4 blocks. But I just found I took it out in most matchups. Like over the weekend, I think I played it into Victor. That was, I think, the only matchup I possibly played it into. Yeah. Because it was so clunky if you drew it. And some of these really short matches, where my goal is just to aggro them out, it's just really awkward to draw. And I will never pick it over maybe a Blessings of Cult, where if I want a quick rune chat generator. So I think that's the only real change I think of making. Okay. I want a more guaranteed rune chat generation. So I don't think Runeblade Barrier is the play here.
So -1 Runeblade Barrier, +1 Haunting Rendition, and you're good to go.
Oh, I love Haunting Rendition. Okay. I don't know. I haven't yet decided. Given that Viserai is supposed to allow, I don't think I'm going to be continuing to play the deck either. I'm on the new trip.
No. Don't do that. Keep playing him. We need him to LL. Okay, so anything else you want to explain about the deck? Maybe like the general playstyle quickly, just so if someone's watching this and they don't know really how to play Viserai, this could be like a bit of an introduction.
Yeah,
maybe?
I have no issue with that. So I might as well talk a little bit about why I chose to play this version, because if you look, first of all, I'm a horrible deck builder. I'm not good at deck building. I just net deck what's on the
Don't tell them
players list and play.
He's very good.
I think I'm a good player. I think I'm an alright player, but I think deck building is I just can't see the lines. I thought Malefic was a horrendous card until it came out, and I went, oh shit, this actually fixes all my problems. So doing better than thinking about things. So I tried the Brody list originally, the ones you see, a very aggro red line, balls to the wall, we're just going to keep attacking you kind of list. And I just found that sometimes you break harder than Aurora. You're not as consistent into Guardian and all. Like sometimes they can just fatigue you. It's not easy to do, and you can play around it to a certain extent, but I don't know, it just never felt right. I've never been a fan of Bunga Bunga aggro. I like blocking. And the thing that really drew me to this type of list is the ability to fatigue Dio and Aurora. So I think those are very 50-50 matchups, and being able to fatigue them or race them is quite a fun little way to play the game. And I did fatigue Dash.io in one of I think round 3 of my Battle Hardened run, so that was quite good. I do like the modality that comes with this kind of list. You can play aggressively, you can play defensively. One of the judges, shout out to Tony in Thailand, he told me, what's up with your list? You can block when he wants to block, you can disrupt when he wants to disrupt, and you can attack when he wants to attack. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. And I think this kind of list, gives you the opportunity to do any of these things. It's not as linear as some of the other active versions of this list. So that's what I like about it. As for play styles, I think largely you want to play a very aggressive game plan, especially in the new aggro decks, Cindra, Fang. I think you want to play a very aggressive game plan as a whole, while leaning on high good value cards like your reduced rune chance blocking for 4 and give you a rune chance. These 0 for 5 cards like Rebel and Greenblood. Essentially you want to be using these things as a 0 for 5s rather than just 0 for 4s and all the other regular decks are stuff with.
That concludes the deck portion, so I guess we'll go through your tournament run, and in case you're thinking, there's nothing to be gained from this section, he's going to tell you how he beat the decks as well in his plans, so it might come useful, who knows. So yeah.
So there were 7 rounds of Swiss, and I went 6-1, losing round 2 to a Dorinthea, which, not who I expected to lose to, but it is what it is. Not my best performance. And then I lost in the semi-finals to Victor. Also, not who I thought I would lose to, but hey-ho, that's very weird. So my round 1 was against Cindra. I have played maybe one game of Cindra against Cindra and Tasha. I had no idea what the matchup was, so I just used my default Fai matchup spread that I had. And then I made 6 changes. I went, okay, this will probably be something. What's the worst that could happen? This is probably the one and only time I high rolled an opening this tournament by going Malefic, Storming, and Arsenaling and Amplify. My opponent ran 0 AB, so took 1 damage, 1 arcane damage, and then sat there wondering what's he going to do against double Malefic opening.
Yeah.
So that was fun. I was told by my opponent that this is a winnable matchup for him if he went first, but he didn't. So it ended up being 21-0 at the end of the game. I think Cindra, being a deck that runs mostly reds and very few blues, it just opens her up to just getting aggro down. There's very little she can do to stop you. And because she runs no AB and no life gain, you can reliably hit your succumbs, all your on hits become a bit more threatening.
Yeah.
And in regards to succumb, what I value more from it is the destruction is nice, but they do run D-reacts and singulars and things like that. What I really like is extra action points, because right after I played the double Malefic turn, I went Moderate into Swarming, into Succumb, Amplify, Read the Runes. So that extra action point gave me an additional 6 rune chance, which, what can anybody do against it? After that would be the Dorinthea game plan, and I'll be honest, I actually had no idea what happened this game. I'm looking at my current life total sheet. I remember giving him 2 counters and then going, well, I kind of fucked it. So I went, alright, it's time to shape up. I had one really risky gamble where I no blocked his double counter, Dawn Blade for 5, and he went, okay, pass, which gave me a lot of leeway to try to bring the game back.
Yeah.
I got him down to 6 and then lost. I think this is actually a matchup where racing is probably the better option. I more likely play too defensively into Dorinthea. Your numbers are better than hers. Aside from skill-based supremacy turn, with an Irons of Determination, you can often just stymie their turn with a hit piece. So I think that was probably my big mistake there, was just playing too defensively and playing into the reprise effects. So if I were to do it again, I'd probably take out my D-React and then just raise her down. Maybe took out the Malefics as well, because I think having yellow Malefics is actually too slow in certain cases. This might be one of them, because it blocks for 2. If you play it down, it doesn't do anything. You want the immediate damage against Dorinthea.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I feel is the best way to go about it. Alternatively, you could probably stack a lot of Winchan and see what happens, but I don't like the idea of Dorinthea in her compounds. They're very scary, and it's hard to block her on, just by guessing what she's going to do. She has so many options these days, and unconditional go again, she's nuts. So, would not recommend.
Okay. Lesson learned.
Alright. Yeah. That was my only loss. I was actually dooming a lot after that. I went, okay, well, that's it. I'm not going to make it the top 8 anymore. And then I think, no. Round 2 against Dio. I think Dio is straightforward. A lot of people asked me on the day itself, even my opponent asked me, why are you blocking so much? And even in our Discord itself, so asked me why not just raise the Dio?
Mm-hmm.
I think Dio is just consistently better than you. She's just so fast. While my deck, a lot of the bottom right says 3 on it, and I like it when it says 3, I just put it in front too.
Yeah.
I think the difficult bit is boom grenades are still really annoying. You can still get caught out and blown up with your best efforts, and if they hit the max Vs, it can be really tough. But it's a gamble for them as well, and more often than not, I found more success in blocking them out than I have with trying to play aggressively. Interestingly enough, my opponents, I think in the last round of the Swiss, the 7th round, one of the other players came up to me and was like, "Oh, you're the Viserai player to beat so and so." My round 3 opponent, and he went, "That's my students. You bullied my students." In my head, that immediately went, "Man, do I need to race this guy now? Do I need to do I need to play a different play style, because he's going to know I'm going to fatigue him?" And one of the choices that my opponent in round 3 made was put Signal Jammer on the field, and I went, I don't really care about that, I'm just going to block you.
Yeah.
So, and that slowed him down. That was his turn. And it's one of those things where I need to decide. And that's part of the reason why I like the deck as well, is I can just decide, it's a long term, I'm just going to race and take out all my defensive points. That is a thing you can do, and I love doing it when I feel tonight is easy to play. Round 4. I don't remember what this one was. Oh, it was an Aurora. Yeah. Aurora's a tough matchup. I think my default is defensive into Aurora. I think Rune Blade matchups tend to go the way of whoever's a more defensive deck, because what you often find is if you take too many unnecessary damage to try and do your game plan, aggressive game plan, you reach the point where you need to block. Mm-hmm. And because Rune Blade hands a thing, you need to play a combination of cards. If you're forced to block early, then it's just over. I don't think you can do the cover. Viserai is quite prone to this because you need to have a non-attack to start with, and if you don't, you could just find yourself in a position where you need to block with your good cards, and then you just can't win anymore. A lot of people tell me this matchup comes down to whoever nuts first. I.e., Viserai gets a moderate type turn that's insane, or Aurora gets a channel value turn that's just draws a card and stays on the field for another 2 turns. There are some things I do in this matchup, which I take out Rebel and Runeblood here, mm-hmm. which is a bit odd, because you would think Rebel and Runeblood is one of Viserai's most powerful cards. 5 Rune Chance on tap with a moderate type turn is insane. It's one of the best creepers targets after you play a non-attack mm-hmm. and have spin it up. There's a lot of good reasons, but the issue is that they run Warmongers, and and Warmongers just stops you. And it's taking out these bad cards that will just punish you for playing them.
Yeah.
Things that, the Rebel is probably just a big one. And it's surprising how many matches take Rebel out. You don't need it to win games. It's a win more card. And I often find it's much better into things like Guardian, where you need to just have that high numbers.
Yeah. So basically, you don't feel comfortable knowing that you don't feel like you can nut before the other person nuts, so you don't try nutting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I find my experience is playing Briar, Viserai, Chain, and I don't really play Aurora in sets, but every time I play a more like sort of defensive game plan, like you play for your strong hands, rather than play your hands a lot. You can do the mathematical route and see what gives you the best numbers, blocking and attacking wise, but realistically, if I keep my life total high for the potential moderate tide rebel turn, or the moderate tide with a double malefic on the board turn, then I think that's much better than just going for 6-7 damage every single turn, split up. You really want that. Like Viserai is a multiplicative deck. Each card has a potential to multiply on itself, especially if you spend a bit of time setting up. Things like Arcane Sing on a turn where you have 6 win chance guarantees another 3 more. They sort of like big damage turns. You just hit them so hard that they don't have the cards in hand to block. Sometimes you only need 3 attacks to win a game.
Yeah.
You just need to swing like 9 plays 3 times and then the game's over. Keeping your life high for that is actually much better than just swinging damage turn over turn.
Yeah.
And that's probably the thing I forgot going into my semi-final run. She'll toss you in the game into victor. I'm like thinking back about it. That's probably where I've lost the game. Round 5, I played a Fai. That was pretty cool. It was a very close game. Another hero that doesn't run AB. So when someone doesn't run AB, I get really happy because I get to hit them in the face and build lots of rune chance. Surprisingly not the easiest game I played. I think this is one of the closer ones where I thought I was going to lose. I think he got me down to 5, and I got him down to 5, and then it was my turn. I just stacked up just enough rune chance to kill them off. My opponent unfortunately forgot or didn't think to use his armor to block ahead of time, so there was, I think, 5 block on board that he didn't actually use. That might have made a difference in our matchup. But it was a very stressful one. At that point, we were pretty unhappy. 5 rounds of that can be quite difficult.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Fai is just another, similar to Cindra. They can't really block your arcane, so they don't bother. They don't run into blues to block your arcane. It's really worth it. So you just hit them as hard as you can. Obviously, they can also hit you back really hard, and blocking their mass triggers is quite important because they can potentially just run away with the game. But any arcane damage you do is true damage essentially. So you are allowed to play solo games or abandon all your defense and embrace them because your cards tend to go for 0 for 5s, your swarmings, rebels, even your amplifiers can be 0 for 6s sometimes, depending on how you set up. So all your cards just better than 0 for 3, which is what 5 starting rate is. And if you're quite good with your armor blocks and your spellbound creepers, then you can just run away. The next skill I play is an Ira. So Ira is pretty cool. I don't actually know how to sideboard into Ira yet. This is another one where I looked at my sideboard I made. And just shout out to Dan for playtesting Ira to me quite a bit. He's a really good Ira player, and he's one of our best Scottish players we have. So I'm quite confident maybe after playing him that I'm a super matchup. However, having played him and then some Tarsha games, Ira can be built in so many ways. I feel you can go for the 2 for 7s, dagger into 2 for 7s. You can go with dagger, flip knives, and up sticks. Needle was really busted when he was available to play. It's really hard to tell when you want to block. And some Iras run AB, some Iras don't run AB. And I feel like there's just enough variation in the deck that I can't have a one-size-fits-all plan for Ira at the moment. I think if you let the game go on too long against Ira, you will probably lose because she just gets 1 damage every turn. You could argue Viserai gets 1 damage every few turns, but you do run the risk of running yourself out of cards. It's probably a very dynamic matchup where you decide where you look for your opportunities to swing hard at them. 9 play is still a phenomenal card in these kinds of matchups where you have opportunities to have damage. Because if they go 1 into 8 or 1 into 7, you have a lot of leeway to just block it out. It's not very high damage.
Yeah.
And if they're running the no AD, you can't just stack rune chants and kill them. That is another option you have. There is some difficulty in figuring out whether they run warmongers or not. I feel mostly just can run warmongers without any sort of cost. So this is another one of those matters where I took out Rebel and Runebloods.
Yeah.
Because I find that, again, it's so punishing if you have it in your hand and they warmongers you. And also some of them are running wax on wax offs in their list, and you do get the occasional player that will hide a wax off or wax on in their deck, in their arsenal, until it comes down to it, and then suddenly your turn is to do nothing for 2 turns.
Mm.
So it's quite a difficult matchup to play, but and I always came quite close. I think I got him down to he got me down to 4, I got him down to 1, and it's a lot of us blocking each other and chipping. You can see, I don't know how good you want to see this, but you can see that there's a lot of trees because we all took small amounts of damage each turn to try and eventually finish someone, what the opponent of. Ira is a tough one. I think there's still a lot for me to learn about this matchup, and I wouldn't necessarily be comfortable giving too much advice about it.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
And then the last round of the Swiss would be Victor. Now, Victor, my opponent, Chayat, is very good. So I beat him in the Swiss and lost him in the semis where it actually mattered.
Yeah.
My typical game plan to Guardians, and this will vary very much on which Guardian you play, but is to just stack out a lot of rune chants and hit them pretty hard with 9 play turns. The unfortunate thing is, my assumption is Victor is a very aggressive Guardian. Doesn't run a lot of D-Rex, but Chai was running Calming Breeze. He was running D-Rex in his deck. Also Wisp for Clashes, which surprised me quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And he was playing I think the first round we played in the Swiss, he was playing what I thought was normal for my understanding. He was playing very aggressive Victorless and trying to slam me down before I built up enough room chance to hit him. Whenever a Guardian decides to aggro me, I just decide, okay, I'm just going to aggro you back. I don't think Victor is faster than Viserai at all. So I just stack up my 8 rune chants and swing, 8 rune chants and swing, something like that. Mm-hmm. And they will eventually die. This is one of those matches where you only need 3 to kill them. Because they're not fast enough most of the time.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, looking at my final game of the day into Chariot as well, I had lost because he had adapted his playstyle to try and fatigue me, preventing more rune chants, trying to go for my deck with his hammer a bit more, lining up his pommels a bit better. He's adapted really well into what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, this is where I kick myself a lot. I had thought playing into that game that I didn't have enough rune chant generation for what he was trying to do. I was thinking of changing my sideboard, but I was a bit too tired at that point. I decided not to do it. The difference would have been a third Blessing of Occult, maybe 2 Malefic Incantations.
Yeah.
Seeing as he runs the new Rolling Fissure card, I probably should have made a sort of decision to do that. He also changed to put Tunic on, and that helps prevent the 4th rune chant, which is sometimes how I sort of pressure another card out of his hand. So props to Chad. He really made the hand rotations he needed to beat me, and I just was too slow to respond to it. So that was quite an unfortunate loss for me there.
So you beat him in round 7 of Swiss, and then in top 8 you beat the Aurora because you did the high roller thing, and then in top 4 you lost to the Victor who'd adapted to your sneaky plans and.
Yes. Yeah. No, I was just agreeing with you. Props to Chad. He's a good player. He just really got me there. It was quite unfortunate that I possibly could have won if I drew my water types a bit earlier, but they were in the last 15 cards of my deck. 2 of them were there. I never got the chance to set up that powerful end game sequence about earlier.
Yeah. Oh well. If anyone wants to watch Jas Tin lose on stream, the link is in the description. It's a really good watch. I recommend it.
Oh, don't do that. I think they only came in halfway through as well. So there were a lot of misplays that game. I am not very proud of that. So that one was probably the worst game I played on the day itself. And no excuses for me losing there. in case you want to, let's just speak about my quarter-final game. The opponents triple arc lightning me, I think, turn 2 or turn 3, and I went from 37 to 18 just through that. So that was pretty fun. And if someone does that to you, I made the decision at that point when I saw the turn on lightning that, you know what, there's no fatiguing this man anymore. I'm just going to have to race him, which worked pretty well for me. My turn 1, turn 2 were full block into play malefic. So on the turn I decided to hit him back. It was a moderate swarming or moderate rune rager rebel 9th play turn, which, you know, garnered a lot of attention. I also hit him pretty hard.
Yeah.
That was fun. It ended up being a misplay from my opponent in the last turn, which sealed me the game. Yeah, he overthought his exude confidence turn and lost to me. So that was pretty fun.
So yeah, Jas Tin, thank you very much for your time. Do you have any closing statements for anyone wanting to take Viserai to RTNs this season and help him LL?
Oh, I think he's a really fun tag. He's really strong. There's a reason he's doing so well now. So take the opportunity to play Viserai, you know, get used to making these rune chants, because he will be around for very long more. As a sort of side, I probably would like to shout out Metagame Thailand as well, because I really enjoyed this Battle Hardened experience. I can't say for every Battle Hardened or competitive event I've gone to has run as smoothly as them. But they were quite speedy between rounds. The judging staff was really excellent, and the venue is quite nice as well. And I got these cute little tokens. I can show you. So this is like this is a frailty token that they do for their little mascots, which
cool.
It's quite nice to see the community, so active and so very passionate for the game as well. You know, that was quite a fun thing to watch. So shout out to the Thailand community and Metagame Thailand for hosting such a great event.
Shout out to them. Yeah, well, I guess that concludes everything I have to say to you. Once again, Jas Tin, thank you very much for your time and for your insights on Yuanji's list. That was very good.
I like to play the game. The tech building is difficult. I don't have time for it. But thanks so much for having me, Tim. You know, good luck for RTN. I hope Viserai it's not LL, just so I do get a chance to smash Riptide with it.
We shall see. Anyway, everyone else, thank you for watching, and have a good day.